All right, we have a home where water is getting trapped between the garage and the house. The house is lower than the garage. All the water would run to this crock and 4-inch pipe out to the street, but it wasn't enough. So dirt's been built up around this garage. It's rotted the wall of this garage. Dirt's also been built up against this house, completely rotted all the building materials. We're going to grab up all the bulk water from the downspouts, and we're going to do a drain, an open French drain around this house. We're going to put 2 of our bad seeds in right here. We're going to have a duplex system. You can see all the water. We just went ahead and dug this out, and you can see just the water running out. Welcome to the French Drayman channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and we have a good one for you. You're going to want to see this. You're going to want to watch this entire video because I'm going to show you some things that we've never shown you before. And we're going to talk about the things that contractors don't even want you to know about. We're going to show you how to do a quality installation. We're going to show you how to have a bulletproof curtain French drain with a sump pump system to take care of the water that's collecting on the outside of your house. Right now, the guys are lining the sump pump pit. The sump pump pit was that really, really deep area along the side of the house that I was showing you. They're lining it with our 4-ounce non-woven geotextile filter fabric because we don't want the soil to mix in with our drainage stone. We want to make sure that nothing clogs our outdoor sump pump system. Now, Francisco is going to show you our bad seed for the north. This is a patented system. We brought it in pieces. He's going to do a full assembly right in front of you. A bad seed for the north has a pump on one side and it has a heater on the other side. And these are made where you have a real winter, where things freeze up. Now, we're going to put 2 of these in. So he has 2 of them that he has assembled, and we're going to connect them with a really long piece of chamber. Now pay attention, you're going to see that added chamber length I spoke about. They're going to put both the units up against the fence, and you're going to see them cut a piece of chamber. It's going to connect the 2 units together. This is going to hold 300 gallons of water before the sump pump goes on. A store-bought indoor sump pump basin that you see these guys using in backyards, the sump pump turns on every time 5 gallons of water goes into that little sump pump basin that's for the indoors. That's going to wear a sump pump out. Most sump pump failures are right at the switch because the sump pump goes on and off, on and off, on and off. Every time there's 5 gallons of water, it goes back on, and this wears them out. They wear out at the switch. That is their weakest link. So by creating a system that has 300 gallons before the sump pump float actually reaches to the trigger point, we're going to reduce the amount of run times. We're going to extend the life and reliability on the sump pump. That's why we patent our unit. We make this out of dual wall culvert pipe. It's indestructible. All right, let's keep this moving because I promised I was going to teach you as many tricks and tips as I possibly could in under 18 minutes. Now, we're removing a failed system. I wanted to talk about why this system failed. I want to make sure that my subscribers can avoid failure. Now, a lot of my subscribers live in the north. They're either in northern U.S. or Canada or someplace that has a real winter. Real winter meaning we see temperatures where the water will freeze. If you have a system that is shallow, any type of French drain, yard drain, downspout, roof runoff system, those are shallow systems. You want to make sure that you use a pipe that can freeze and thaw and it doesn't crack and break. The problem with PVC pipe, it can't withstand freeze and thaw. PVC pipe has to be below the frost in order for it to hold up and last. Unfortunately, these shallow systems don't even give PVC a fair shot, not in the north. So this system, over time, just deteriorated. The water would freeze. There's different weather conditions that create ice dams. Ice dams will split PVC pipe. It'll crack PVC pipe Corrugated pipe, however, is very flexible. It's designed to expand and freeze. If you use the virgin pipe, which is the blue pipe or the yellow pipe, that will stretch out and not split. If you use the black pipe, that has some recycled material in it. Any black corrugated pipe is weaker. Just remember, as long as you use virgin corrugated pipe, you can avoid failure in the north, any place that freezes. All right, so the guys are busy digging right around the house. I want to make sure that we get a really nice 16-inch wide trench. We're going to go down about 14 to 18 inches. We're going to put a little bit of pitch on this. We don't need too much. You got to remember that we're going to end up at that sump pit, and the water's just going to fall right out of the pipe that's creating that giant void. I did a video with a camera in some corrugated pipe with 8 slots, 360 degrees all the way around it, showing you how it works. If you can just imagine that pipe ending at a point where you have a pit that just drops several feet, and then it has pumps in it. It has these outdoor sump pumps in it. That pipe's never going to have water in it. That is impossible. Basically, that would be like taking a drinking glass and laying it on its side full of water and expect some water to stay in the glass. It can't happen. It's not possible. Once we catch all the water in this outdoor sump pump pit with these 2 pump systems, game over. We're going to evacuate this water off the slot. I'm going to show you guys some tricks. I'm going to show you a handful of tricks on how to run a sump pump discharge line to where it won't freeze up. You can run it to where you're going to avoid any issues in the wintertime, and we're going to do it without check valves. I'm going to explain why we do it without check valves. I'm going to give you specific, detailed instructions on this outdoor sump pump system discharge line. It's going to be some things that have never been covered before on this channel, and it's going to be some things that the other channels either do not know about or they do not want to talk about. So please stay to the end to get all these details, because I want all the DIYers and young contractors to have success. I don't want to have young contractors frustrated and guys that could be real asset to the industry giving up before they ever make it. All right, so we're going ahead and we're going to also run this drain system down the garage. The whole back wall of this garage is rotted right off. The bottom of the wall is completely destroyed, and before the work, the costly work is done, a good drainage system has to be put in place to protect the investment that the homeowner is going to make in this home. This beautiful curtain drain that goes all the way around this house, it's not going to let a drop of water inside this home. When the water hits this open French drain, the water's just going to fall right through all the voids of the stone. It's impossible for the water to make it to the house. It can't make it inside the house. You pour water, a pail of water, on a pile of stone, and what's going to happen? The water's just going to run right through all the voids in the stone. That's it. When it does that, it's going to end up in the big void, which is our corrugated 8-slot high-octane pipe. That's going to carry all the water all the way around to this outdoor sump pump system. Now, our electrician ran a couple of plugs. I'm going to go into detail on what we did and why we did it so that you at home can have just as much success as we do, the pros. Just make sure you stay to the end and don't miss a thing. Now, this fence was old and rotten, and we had to put a temporary system in place until the homeowner had the fence replaced. And then we came back to run the sump pump line. So here we go. I'm going to show you. We're in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. We're running a sump pump discharge line down a fence. We're going to show you guys how to do that. Always take a string, run that string. And then we wanted to use something really strong, so we did go with Schedule 40. Now 3-inch is going to displace so much water. When you use 3-inch, You have 2 1.5-inch sump pump discharge lines running into a 3-inch. We want to make sure that we don't have an issue as far as with overwhelming the discharge pipe. That's why we're not running that in 1.5 or running that in 2-inch. This is the best way to do a outdoor sump pump discharge in the north. If you go underground and you try to run this underground to a pop-up, you're going to end up with water in that line. That water is going to freeze. We're able to use this fence and we can carry this slope, really nice gradual slope. No water is going to lie in this discharge line. And then we wanted to make sure that this is off the ground, because here in the north, ice will build up right at the discharge. It'll just start building up and building up. If this pipe was all the way to the ground and it was laying on the driveway itself, ice starts to build up at the discharge end, and then you'll end up with an ice dam. Right here, we're dropping it. You know, we're just doing a couple test runs, and we threw a couple blocks under there, but we're not going to leave it like that. It's going to look a little nicer there when we have it fit and finished. I was just going to show you guys where we're at, explain to you why we do what we do. Here in the north, we can't run check valves, or there'll be water that stays inside this pipe. If there happened to have been a check valve in line here anywhere, then the water, when it pumps and stops, the check valve, it stops the water from going back. Here in the north, we don't have a luxury of using a check valve. That's a detail that a lot of guys forget, and their systems don't work in the winter because their line freezes solid. We have both systems now plumbed into a 3-inch main discharge line. All right, we got a 3-inch discharge line. We got an 1.5-inch feed coming in the top right here. We got an 1.5 inch coming in right here. We got 1.5 to 3-inch boot. You don't want to do this the other way. If you did it the other way, you would pump this one into this. You'd have no problem with that. But then when this one turned on, it would have the water drop back. Always swing this up high. Then leave this arced in the north. Make sure this has a really nice arc with a peak to it. That way no water can sit up in that line and freeze. Do not put a check valve in the system. Not in the north. A check valve keeps the water from going back into the system. Our chambered systems allow you to build a system without a check valve. Here, this circuit, we have a heater and a sump pump on one breaker. We share it with nothing. We do that over here too. We have a pump, we have a heater. This is a separate circuit from that other pump and heater, and a separate breaker. We share it with nothing. If a heater and or pump shorts out and throws the breaker, we're good. We know we only lose one. We still have one over here. This is a big deal. We built a system all the way around this house to protect the house from flooding. We have to have this foolproof. Eventually a heater and or pump will malfunction. Also, we have these available. They're in our online store if you guys are putting an outdoor system in. I like these because they're fully adjustable. You just loosen up these screw clamps and this just pivots. This is a 45, works really nice, and it's stubbed here and stubbed here. It's nice for the homeowner. Just letting you guys know that. And again, keep this sweeped. Keep this sweeped so that water can't lay up in that line. Super important that it peaks and then comes down. Both lines must do that, and you can't use no check valves. Can't emphasize that enough. Now, have I earned a thumbs up? I'm doing my best to put together some really complete content for you guys. I'm answering all your comments. Please give us a thumbs up. It helps the channel and it expands our reach. Right now we're doing test runs, and what we're doing is we're trying a 22.5 degree, a 45 degree, some custom made 60 degree. We're also trying different stub lengths. We can't have the water go the other way because that's on the property line. We can't flood out the neighbor. Their basement wall to their house is right there. So we're trying to get this to run all the way across the driveway so we're safely discharging the water. So we made some adjustments. We got the right degree elbow. We got the right length pipe. Everything's perfect. This system, our job is done here. It is complete. 100%. All details addressed. This homeowner will never have to ever worry about a flooded home again. All right, everybody. Until that next video, and just leave in the comments section videos that you want me to make for you, and I'll be sure to make really good content answering all of your questions. And everything you've seen in this video to make this system, we sell in our online store. Just go to FrenchDrainman.com. So just to recap, we have a circuit for this pump and this heater, and then we go over here and we got another unit, and we have a different circuit. So we have two breakers. If this heater and pump, something happens and they throw the breaker, I know that this system is still going to be working because it's on a separate breaker. Guys, I can't stress this enough. Any duplexes, when you're running double systems, couple of pumps, put them on separate breakers. Make sure the electrician knows that you want it on a separate circuit. You need it taken to a separate breaker.